why power should shift to northern Nigeria in 2023. Here as our guest, we have Prince Rwang Jr. He is a spokesperson, Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, Samba. We also have Mark Jacobs, also the legal consultant of Samba, and Pamsin Dagat. He's the treasurer of the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance. I am Augusta Neka. Now, from what I can see, the guest that we had, Mark Jacobs, I think he had some network issues, minor network issues, but I think he's back. Mr. Jacobs, if you're here, kindly indicate, and then we can go on with the interview. Mr. Jacobs? Okay, I think our guest is having minor network challenges, but remember that today we are going to be talking about why power should shift to Southern Nigeria in 2023. And we have members of the South and Middle Belt Alliance to explain to us exactly plans to make sure the power shifts to the South. And we are also going to be looking at the press statement they released in reaction to the statement by the Director of Publicity and Advocacy of the Northern Elders Forum, Mr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed. We're going to be looking at that statement. We're going to be looking at the initial statement and the reaction statement. And we're going to look at how exactly power is going to shift, or plans to ensure that power shifts to the South. If you know your guest and you're here, kindly indicate, then we can move on with the interview. Okay, I can see that Mr. Jacobs is back. Mr. Jacobs is the legal consultant of the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance. Mr. Jacobs, thank you for joining us today. Now, can you just give us a background of the statement released by the Director of Publicity and Advocacy, Hakeem Baba Ahmed? What exactly was that statement trying to say? I think we lost our guest. Okay, he's here.
Yeah, the statement.
Okay, Mr. Jacobs, you are muted.
Yeah, I have unmuted now.
Okay, please go ahead.
I have unmuted now.
Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. I was saying that the statement credited to Baba Ahmed didn't come as a surprise, because anybody who knows or who has followed him over the years knows that he speaks with an air of unbridled arrogance, which he doesn't have any apologies for. He says it and he owns it, and he says it like that. It's the same Baba Ahmed that was in INEC. People normally forget that he was in INEC when the most corrupt voting exercise was conducted, where voters, the delineation of constituencies, the distribution of voting units, the entire exercise of the distribution of the voting strength of peoples in Nigeria was conducted under Baba Ahmed. So when he talks like that, he's talking from the basis of what he did while he was secretary of INEC. And building up to that, by the time the elections of Yaradua were conducted, you know, the verdict that even Yaradua passed, that the system that brought him to power was very corrupt, was so bad that if given the chance, he would have rejected the election. And that is the product of Baba Ahmed. So when people are talking, we should put their talks and their voices in the context of their background. Baba Ahmed is aware of the criminal distribution of voting units that took place under him, where large populations in the Middle Belt in the north, large populations in Lagos, large populations in the southern part of Nigeria were largely disenfranchised because whole towns will be allocated 2 or 3 polling units, and people will have to travel kilometers before they can vote. While in some locations in the north, you have 2 or 3 polling units in one street. And those are the reasons why they can boastfully seek to intimidate anybody with their figures. The figures are criminal figures.
Let me just ask you this. Now you've said that the figures, that's what you're trying to say, is criminal and is wrong. But can you actually just dismiss his claim completely? Do you believe his claim has no merit whatsoever?
No, I'm giving you the background as to why he boastfully talk. He's speaking like that because they know exactly what they did. They padded their environment with several voting polling units and denied the same privilege to other parts of Nigeria. It was not a mistake, and he was in charge of that process. So when they are talking from that background, and we must also take note. One reason why they have successfully continued to intimidate the rest of Nigeria is because the whole of the country, particularly our southern brothers, have refused to accept the existence of the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt is not a geographical expression alone. It is a people, and we are spread in 13 states in the north. And if properly galvanized, all this boastfulness and rascality will go away. And I've said it in an earlier interview on this platform that we tested this in the 2011 election of Goodluck Jonathan. When the nationalities, the ethnic nationalities in the north were galvanized and supported to vote, to
Okay, I think we lost him there. But I can see that the spokesperson for the Southern and MiddleBelt Alliance is here, Prince Rwang Pam Jr. If you're here, kindly indicate. If you can hear me, rather, kindly indicate.
I'm very much around, Augusta. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. I know you had other engagements, but you still made that time to be here. I appreciate you. Now, what he was trying to do, what Mr. Jacob was trying to do, was to give us a background about the statement released by the Northern Elders Forum. But I'll allow him to do that when he comes back. Now, let me just ask you this. Your group, that is the Southern and MiddleBelt Alliance, made a statement, a press statement, in reaction to the Northern Elders Forum. What exactly prompted that press statement? Was it just his claims, or was there other underlying factor that prompted that press statement from your organization?
Okay, I would want to say that it's possible to be both. I am from the Southern and MiddleBelt Alliance, and we have our core objectives as to organize ourselves as a lobby, a political action and pressure group with the intention of influencing quality representation, influencing quality leadership, and influencing organized grassroots bodies for regions, for the regions within our catchment area, which is the Middle Belt, the South, Southeast, and Southwest. We want to make sure we advance and protect the interests of our people. Now, that statement by Hakeem Baba Hamid, doctor, purportedly by representing the Northern Elders Forum. It beats my imagination, although it is not surprising. Sometimes you hear statements like this and you think, oh, it's just a joke, but they may actually mean it. However, the authenticity of the statement will be brought to question. What North is he talking about? That's just my concern. What North? Is it the North with the Middle Belt inclusive? If it is the North with the Middle Belt inclusive, then I think he is grossly mistaken. Because the Middle Belt, the South-South, Southeast, the Middle Belt and the South are now one. So I think they are trying to overlook this, play the ostrich. Middle Belt and the South are one. So whatever figures he must have come up with, whichever way he must have contracted them, I think his calculations are wrong. He should go back to the drawing board. And having said that, if it's talking about the Middle Belt within, which of the leaders, which of the elders of the Middle Belt endorsed that his statement that he is representing? And let them bring out a document with all their signatures of those who agreed. Then we will ask our leaders if we had permitted them to make such an utterance on our behalf. So in fact, even the statement itself lacks credibility. As reckless as it is, as careless, as insensitive as it may sound, it still lacks credibility. So it could be just a contraption of a few people who sat down and decided that we should do this and everybody would follow.
Okay, even though in your estimation the statement lacks credibility, like you said, can you actually dismiss his claims that the North have the numbers to maintain power come 2023?
Absolutely. That claim can be dismissed with a wave of the hand, but it's not to say we will not take them seriously. Like our legal man, Mark, was saying, Joseph Jacobs, there's a lot of fraud going on what we call elections. A lot of youth have lost interest in what is called election in Nigeria. During the 2019, there were people queuing in front of INEC offices. And inside, there were heaps of voters' cards. At the end of the day, 90% of them went away without getting those voters' cards. And while people from around the Middle Belt, let's say from in Plateau State particularly, Jos South is very large, and you would move for 4, 5, 6, 8 to 10 miles to get to the INEC office. That was the only center distributing voters' cards. People will leave their homes. People will leave their homes before 6, get and meet a queue that is half a mile long, and they go back home without their voters' card. So there's a lot of fraud called voting. Their population is something nobody can estimate. But they may be having plans. The body language of the current administration has made many people to lose confidence in it. And this would be interpreted by a lot of quarters as being one of the strategies. I remember very vividly during our interview with the late hero and our legend, Dr. Obadiah Lafia, he said that there's a plan to start a civil war in 2022. We are in September. Is this just to agitate the policy to bring about that kind of a civil war? But if it's in terms of numbers, like they claim, they have 40 million more Fulanis in Nigeria, they have so and so, they are mistaken. That will not work, except if there's another agenda. But as far as voting is concerned, as far as the population is concerned, as far as SAMBA, which is the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, is concerned, they don't stand a chance, except
Okay, thank you.
they go the back door.
All right, thank you so much, Prince Rwang Pam Jr. Let us go back to Mr. Jacobs. I think he's back. Mr. Jacobs, if you're there, kindly unmute.
Okay.
Okay, so before you left, you were giving us a background stating why the statement by the Northern Elders Forum is not credible and should be dismissed. Can you just go ahead with that?
Okay. Sorry for the interruptions. It's a network problem.
No problem.
Now,
please go ahead.
Let me just say again that the contraptions relied upon by the Northern Elders Forum is actually criminal. And it is because Nigerians have been railroaded into accepting anything they say. That is why they are getting bolder and bolder every day. And I was saying that one of the reasons why they continue to behave like this is because a large portion of Nigeria has refused to recognize the existence of the Middle Belt, which stretches from southern Borno up to Kebbi in the northwest of Nigeria. Now, sometimes when we explain this, people say, how can you say that Middle Belt goes up to Kebbi? But that is reality. We are indigenous ethnic nationalities. We are not, it's not largely geographical, even though if you draw a straight line in the middle of Nigeria, you will find the Middle Belt completely together. And it cuts across all the states we're mentioning. But like I said, the artificial map given to us as a country, and then the division of the country into states should not be relied upon when we are talking about the Middle Belt. Now, it is because we have consistently insisted that we are bound by these geographical divisions by the government, by the military, particularly when they were creating states. That is why we don't understand the concept and the philosophy behind the Middle Belt Forum or the Middle Belt peoples. Now, having stated the background under which Baba Ahmed is operating, it is important to say that if we organize properly, we do not need to beg Baba Ahmed and his gang to surrender to superior votes. And we're talking about legitimate votes that will be counted. And I was saying that we have tested this, and it was tested very well in 2011. The election that made Buhari to cry, the election that made Buhari to say he would never contest election again, that was the election. But the political players, knowingly or otherwise, abandoned and threw away the strategy that gave Goodluck Jonathan the votes in 2011. That's why he failed subsequently. There is no way Nigeria can continue like this. And to save Nigeria, the South and the Middle Belt must understand each other. And that is why I'm happy to belong to this alliance, because it is the only kind of alliance that can save this country. The way the Baba Ahmeds are going to say that even in the face of the abysmal failure of their #1 general, by the way, if you don't know, up to tomorrow, Muhammadu Buhari is the #1 general in the North. And he's the one that commands everybody's respect amongst them. So he is the best that they have produced. And look at the performance. Nigeria within 4 years has galloped back to the 1940s, backwards. Nigeria has flopped into total domination. We are now the headquarters of the poor, of poverty in the world. We have overtaken India. We are now.
Okay, let me just interject here. Let me
Yes.
just interject here a bit. Now, to my understanding, the Middle Belt consists of a lot of different ethnic nationalities. Some
Yes.
identify themselves as the Middle Belt, while some are more biased towards the North. Can you categorically state now that everybody in the Middle Belt bearing the identity of a Middle Belt person is aligned or is more biased towards the South than the North? Can you make that assertion?
most of the time you can't have 100% when you're talking of politics, but I can assure you that majority of the middle belters know what their interest is. And they would readily identify with a southern candidate any day, because the pains we have gone through in the last 4 or 5 years have further galvanized us into remembering our roots. We have never had it this bad. Yes, in the past, our children or our parents and our grandparents were denied access to simple things of government. Do you know, for instance, that in my village, up to 1994, the Baba Ahmeds and their gang used to send people from Zaria to come and be village head or district head. We were not allowed to have our own chiefs. We were not allowed to have anything from government. And so we saw a ray of hope when in 1999, something started happening. But I can tell you that even that, it cannot be compared to what we are going through today, where our communities are under siege on a daily basis. We are not just allowed, we are even begging, just allow us to live. Don't give us anything from government, but allow us to live. The right to life is being denied. So is it in the Plateau? Is it in Benue State? Is it in Kaduna? Is it in Kebbi? Is it in Niger? Every day, our communities are under siege. And the government says there's nothing wrong. Supporters of Buhari were in London yesterday saying that there is no problem in the Middle Belt. And so, for us, even the ordinary right to life has been hijacked by the agencies of this government. And they see nothing wrong in what is happening. And that is why 77 people in Plateau State can be killed, and the killing will take 2-3 days, happening every day. Behind the Rukuba barracks, there have been no intervention, but immediately 22 other people passing through in very suspicious circumstances are attacked. The whole world is unleashed on that community. The IG sends a special squad. The military now comes alive. DSS comes alive. Civil defense comes alive. The ministers of government come alive. All the governors of the country now come alive and begin to visit Plateau State. What are we talking? What kind of country is that selects which life is valuable and supports that with the entire gamut of government? The National Assembly is flooded with bills and discussions on the issue. Just within the same community where 70 other Nigerians have been killed, where thousands of people from within that same environment are IDPs, their houses burnt, their food crops destroyed. We have never had it this bad. And I'm saying that this could be politically utilized. Nobody is going to hide again and pretend that this pain is not there. The pain is there. We live with it. We see our people who are responsible people feeding themselves now turned into beggars. And it is all over the country. So if the politicians can galvanize and take advantage of the pain, there is nothing that will stop the Middle Belt from identifying with a candidate, particularly from the South, who says he will just give us the right to life and protect it. Who says that he will not allow the agencies of government to select and choose which lives to protect. Any candidate who will promise that he will at least attempt to save our young men and women, save our children. Our schools today have been closed. Education is the best thing we have. We don't have government investments in our communities. The only thing we have is education, which was betrothed to us by the missionaries. This same thing, this same only thing that we have is being attacked. So when they say Boko Haram, we see it coming alive in our communities in the Middle Belt. And so I'm telling you that the environment is ripe, but it depends on how our Southern brothers interpret and utilize it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs. Let us hear from the spokesperson of the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance, Prince Rwang Pam Jr. Prince Pam.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sure.
Just before we go further, can you clarify what exactly your organization is? Is it a civil organization? Is it a pressure group? Is it a proposed political party? Just clarify that before we go further.
Okay. Southern Middle Belt Alliance. We are the people of the Middle Belt, the South, South, Southeast, and Southwest. That's the whole southern part of Nigeria. This organization has a simple mission to advance the social, cultural, and economic interests of Southeast, South, South, Southwest, and the Middle Belt region by specifically promoting political alliance between the three regions and protecting economic interests. So that is by and large our mission. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a few objectives, and the SAMBA for short. Our aims and objectives will include organizing ourselves, and which we are already, as a lobby group, as a political action group, and as a pressure group. These are some of the issues that are eating up our regions. We have been politically marginalized. We have been, look at every aspect of life, every positive aspect of governance, we don't enjoy. The principal role of government is the protection of life and property, as well as giving us an enabling environment to thrive. Those two fundamentally, we don't have. We have been seriously marginalized on such issues. So we cannot just sit down and wait for a miracle to happen. Gone are the days. And we cannot sit down and be afraid that, oh no, you're talking against the government. No. Samba is a voice. And we are grateful that our brothers within this region are beginning to realize it. And people are keying into it. We are not for any political party. We are for leaders who are going to stand and say, this is black, white is white. Not for marginalization. That our people, our children can go to school and have an education and not be kidnapped on the way. Like Abacha would say, if there's any uprising that would last over 24 hours, then the government is culpable. There's no will. So we feel as if this government has either intentionally or unintentionally been misinformed. And we have a duty to speak to the government using all tools available, all legal tools available as a pressure group, so that if the government is not getting the right vibe from the corridors of power, our group will bring out the cry of the masses, the yearnings of the downtrodden, and speak for those who have not been spoken for, to give the government, the current administration, a chance to redirect its policies, its stance, and actions for the Middle Belt, the South-South, the Southwest, and the Southeast regions. So that is principally what Samba is all about, Augusta. Hello? Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
We can hear you. It seems Augusta lost. I think her network is really bad, so she's gone off. Probably
Okay.
she'll come in a
Okay.
moment. All right.
Okay, let me say a thing or two before she comes.
All right.
Yes, I'm very delighted too that the alliance has come alive, because it gives me hope that what some of us experienced while working in Lagos and other parts of the South maybe will become history very soon. Because as a student in Lagos, I was attending church with my Southern brothers, but at any time discussions got heated up, they would call me Malam. I worked in Lagos for some years too. And it was difficult for them to distinguish or differentiate me from the typical Fulani or Hausa friends around. And they will call me Aboki, or if there is anything wrong in the South, they'll say, now the Kosa, meaning those of us from the North. And all efforts to explain, look, this Hausa you're calling me, you're addressing me as Hausa. I learned it the way I learned English. There are people in my village till tomorrow who don't know how to speak Hausa. And they see, when you call them Hausa, they take offense because they know the pain they have passed through all their life as a result of these same people you are referring to. Our parents were denied the basic things that government was supplying or providing in other parts of the country. No roads, no electricity, no pipe-borne water, and the people in the other parts of the country were enjoying those things. So many parts of my community saw electricity for the first time in the 1990s. So many people for the first time had the pleasure of seeing how the tar is laid, how bulldozers can construct a road. We're seeing those things in so many of our communities for the first time. And so it is with joy that we embrace the new things that came in. And all our lives, we have been praying for the day that our Southern brothers will understand and align with us to give direction, to give leadership to this country. I can see Augusta is back, so Madam,
Yes,
can you
yes.
take?
Yes, I'm back. Thank you so much. Remember that you can join the program simply by raising up your digital hand, and I'll try to accommodate as much questions and comments as possible. Now let's go back to the spokesperson of Samba. Are you there?
Sure, I am.
Okay. Now, political parties are usually motivated by the theory of necessity, which means that they will do anything to maintain power. What have Samba, or what is Samba doing to make sure that the candidate of the South, or anybody that's going to contest for the 2023 election that is coming from the South, is not just capable, but is going to be held accountable for their campaign promises and going to actually bring development to the region? Is the Samba trying to bring a candidate of such caliber to contest for 2023 elections?
First of all, like I mentioned, Samba is a political action group, not really a political party. So we're not going to produce a candidate. However, our members are persons, Nigerians, who are in all political parties. Because within Samba, the South and the MiddleBelt, you have almost all the political parties we have in Nigeria there. And they have their officials, they have their chairpersons in local governments, in the ward levels. etc. But they're still members of Samba. Technically, what Samba is doing is creating awareness that if we do not stay together, align together, and understand the games in the political arena, we are likely going to be disenfranchised much, much more than we're experiencing today. Like distinguished Mark Jacobs made it very clear that what we suffered in the first 4 years, we thought it was terrible. But this 2 years so far is more than those 4 years combined. Are we going to sit and watch and have another set of 4 years like that? How many of us will still remain? So sometimes it's the lack of awareness. Somebody will be creating awareness. If we see, observe body languages, or we observe utterances like that one made by Baba Ahmed, we don't let it to rest. We tell them, we know what that means, and this is what we think. Samba is the voice to balance the polity of the country. If there's a good candidate in APC, why not? As long as it's in the South. If it's PDP, why not? If it is AD, why not? If it is PRP or GNPP, if those parties exist, Samba will endorse and support just anybody that will stand up and say, enough is enough. Let the right things be done. All Nigerians are equal. Thank you, Augusta.
Okay, let me speak to Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, now you have made it clear, and the spokesperson have also made it clear that Samba is going to support someone from the South. So let me ask you this. What if the candidate or somebody from the South is not as capable or don't have as much capacity as someone from the North? Will Samba still support zoning, let me use the word zoning, instead of capacity?
Like I said before, the North has produced their best. And that their best is in office today. I don't see anybody from the North that we know, that is capable of doing anything better than this man. They have produced their best. And even Baba Ahmed, in an interview I listened to today, said that Buhari has disappointed them. And he was part of the think tank of the Buhari presidency. They looked around the entire North and brought Buhari. So are they going to bring an angel? Nobody is going to be better than Buhari from the North. Let nobody deceive me. I won't be deceived anyway. Because what we have seen, even their current gladiators who want to be governors or who want to be president, I know one or two of them. None of them, for instance, has been decent enough to condemn the attacks going on unabated, even in the North. They play politics with the lives of their people. And that is why I am worried that people will still think that something good can come out of the North to lead this country. I don't think they have the capacity. They have capacity for governance. They want to be in government. They want to be in government. That is the thing. They want power. But as far as administering the country is concerned, their number one flag bearer has failed. And I'm so scared of what he will do before the next election. Because every day he keeps going down the drain and dragging Nigeria with himself. He started with body language. That was the first time we were hearing that a president of a nation in the 21st century is leading or providing leadership via body language. I suspect that has become body odor now. Now, the only consistent policy this government has pursued in the 21st century, when people around the world are discussing how to go and settle in the moon or in the sun, the only policy that this government has pursued for 6 years is how to find settlement and where cows will happily reside. Nobody has a housing policy in this government for human beings. But every day, this government has consistently continued to pursue just one policy: how to keep cows happy, how to find a good resting place for cows. And this is the best material they produce. So for me, it's a no-no for any northerner. I don't see any better candidate that will come. All the other people are just hungry for power, and they have not told us what they will do differently from the current #1 man in the North. Nobody, they don't say it. And I have stopped following anybody who will not tell me what he wants to do with power. Because in 2014, it is this same packaging that they did for the current president that they are going to do again. Package him, get the Tinubus and other people to snap pictures with him wearing danshiki, wearing the Igbo hat, wearing a Calabar wrapper. All of these things, he dropped them the day he was sworn in. And that is why he couldn't find what he wore during the campaign in 2015. And they had to rush and sew a new trouser for him that was looking like something done by a carpenter, not a tailor. So we are in trouble because people have taken Nigerians for granted. They will package anybody and sell him to you, and people will buy and start moving and campaigning. And he will go to churches. People will open their churches to him, open their mosques to him. He will finish. And then once he grabs power, he is lost. In fact, at the time, they were saying that most of the things that are happening, he is not aware. He's not the one that is doing it. It is Garba Shehu or it is Abba Kyari. These things are lies. The man does not just have capacity. And like I said, he was and he remains their champion. If their champion cannot perform, I don't see anybody else that will perform.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs. Let us allow the participants to partake in the conversation. I can see someone hand up, Mr. Alache Ode.
Okay.
Your hand is up.
Yes,
please
thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm a lady, not a man.
Sorry, my apologies.
No problem, Augusta. I just want us to look at two good things, right? One, why is it possible that somebody like Hakim Baba Ahmed can make such a statement? It is because of the kind of democratic political system we have, where the entrance into presidency is what we call first past the post. That means the majority, somebody with majority votes. And we have noticed also that sometimes in political discourse, that majority can become a problem. And that is why sometimes majoritarianism is tempered by some things like electoral colleges and so on and so forth, so that it brings back sanity. Otherwise, we will have what they call the tyranny of the majority. And now we are having the tyranny of the majority, if indeed the majority is what Baba Ahmed is talking about. So we have not really interrogated our political system, and we must begin to put pressure in a way that it is not always the person who has the majority vote, even if he's not capable, even if he's from a region like where Baba Ahmed comes from, a region that has the highest out of school children, a region that has the highest poverty rate, a region that has the lowest education rate, education retention rate, a region where women and young people are not going to school, a region where the economic activity is only centered in particular cities. And that person has the legitimacy to come out to say, we will continue, when your track record does not show any form of contribution to the development of the economy or of the country. So I think in Nigeria, we better start rethinking. It is not about these political parties. If these political parties do not work right, we can support new political parties. We don't have to continue to depend on people or political parties that have no track record. Even the election within the parties to come out with the candidates is fraught with corruption. Our voting systems. I contested election. When I was to contest election, on that day, my name did not appear in INEC voter. I had my temporary voter's card. I went helter-skelter, went to Abuja. I could not get my permanent voter's card. So what kind of country is that? Simply because somebody somewhere can sit down and decide. We have not had election in Nigeria for a long time. We have had selection. And until we go to election, on the issue of the MiddleBelt themselves must begin to dissociate themselves from statements of this, in quotes, North. The MiddleBelt should dissociate themselves from, I know a lot of people have dissociated themselves, but our political leaders in the MiddleBelt, I haven't had them talking. I have not had them talking. Because why? A lot of them, I want to make this categorical statement that because EFCC can capture people who have stolen and invested in money, or if you invest your money overseas, they can ask government. They are now investing their money in cattle rearing because you cannot say who has cattle and who doesn't have cattle. And a lot of our MiddleBelt people are now cattle owners, so they are supporting this. I want to hear our so-called MiddleBelt elders talking. I've not had one voice of them. There is a conspiracy that is beyond us here, and we need to begin to break down and deconstruct and demystify that conspiracy. And we must begin to point out even within us who the traitors are. We are covering up for them. And this is the honest truth, Augusta. I say it, and until we begin to expose our co-conspirators within the MiddleBelt, who are saying they should give our land, and then they run to Abuja. When it is election, they come back to us. We start voting for them, killing ourselves over them. I thank you very much.
Okay,
because
thank you
I'm
so much,
becoming
Ma.
very passionate.
Yes, I can see that. Yes, I can see that you're really becoming so emotional about it. I have Mr. Charles' hand up. Charles, your hand is up, and I've asked you to unmute. Kindly unmute yourself and make your contribution. Charles?
Me? Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. And it is my pleasure to be part of this conversation because I'm passionate about the unification of the MiddleBelt and Southern Nigeria. We have long waited for this, and our failure to unite earlier than now is the reason why the arrogance of the corner. And I will say it here, I don't like painting words. And the truth of the matter is that the Southern and Middle Belt portion of this country is the reason why we are backward. And I'm going to say this because if we
Augusta, I think we can't hear him. It's like there's a problem from his network.
Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, okay, yes, he left. I think it's the network issue. Let us go back to our guest. Mr. Jacobs.
Yeah.
You heard what Miss Alache Oje said. Do you have any reaction for that?
Sir Elashe, because I saw MBA by her name, so I must address her with care. She is a member of the British Empire, so she's an elder, and I respect her a lot. Look, exactly what she has said is what I said at a meeting a week ago, where we had some of our retired generals and former senators or current senators. It was a big meeting of the MiddleBelt. And I echoed what she has just said, that we are not hearing them. And I asked them this question. When Pa Clark at 94 comes out to make a statement, how do you feel? When Pa Adebanjo addresses a press conference to advance the issues affecting the Yoruba nation, when Professor Banji and other seniors speak up for their communities, I ask them, how do you feel? And just like she has said, there are issues. There are many issues. Some of the leaders or the people we call leaders, honestly, they are not leaders. They are mere people who were opportuned to get to some places, but they have refused to accept that they are leaders, and that's why they are not leaders. If they were leaders, they would do even much more than Pa Adebanjo is doing, because the rate of the killings in the MiddleBelt, for instance, is higher than what you have in Yoruba land. The rate of the killings in the MiddleBelt is higher than what you get in the South-South. Yet it is Pa Clark that comes out to speak, while we have his age mates sitting down comfortably in Abuja, in Kaduna, in Jos, and taking coffee. Now, it breaks my heart every time you meet some of them and they tell you, they do that all the time, which shows you that there are so many things they are considering, and they are afraid of telling you why they cannot speak up. But just like Sir Elache has said, there are many reasons why people don't talk. Some have criminal charges hanging over their heads. Some are seeking future appointments or privileges from government. So they keep quiet and continue to behave as if nothing is happening. But the people are dying. Your communities are being decimated, and it's a daily affair. So I agree with her that the voices that need to be heard are not being heard. And the good news, however, is that there is a new generation. That new generation that I belong to is not going to keep quiet.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jacob. Let us get another participant to partake in the show. We have Comrade Sani Saidu Muhammad. I have asked you to unmute, so kindly go ahead and make a contribution. Comrade Muhammad. Comrade Muhammad, if you are there, kindly unmute.
Hello? I have unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
There was one part of me that kind of felt like when they arrested him.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you,
One
but
more
the
Yes.
TV behind you is a bit loud.
And then the next thought was, now
Okay. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity given to me. I
this was
felt
going to be the hardest circumstantial evidence case.
of the program is highly enlightening, and it is something that I need to chip in. That's why I indicated earlier. The theme, which is why power should shift to southern Nigeria. So, and the major discussants are from the Middle Belt. Unfortunately, the Middle Belt had never before led Nigeria, I mean, in terms of presidency. So my question to the Middle Belters, are they not ready to clinch power in 2023? Why endorsing orders? Are they not capable enough? This is my first question to to the Middle Belters, because I believe there are people who should, in the first place, start clamoring for the #1 position in the country. They have never get one before, I mean, democratically elected, and even vice presidential slot, they've never got that before. So it's high time, instead of backing orders, they should come out and speak with one voice also, to clinch that ticket and wins it in 2023. They have the population more than even some regions. Their population is far more than some regions in the country. So they can also do it. Why supporting others? This is my question to this discussant. Secondly, there are a lot of allegations labeled against the core north, which to me is not fair at all. If we are talking of clear politics, politics is a game of number everywhere. If you have the strength, you have the capability, you can contest and win. You don't tell someone to support you by fire, by force. That's not how things are done politically. So we need to always think outside the box. The North, I think, if you even go back to the history of Nigeria, from 1990 to date, Obasanjo spent 8 years, and he is from the South. When Adua came, he spent few years and passed away. Jonathan came, he spent 6 years. He's from the South. And now it is Buhari. So just count the number of years. Are we even fair to ourselves by saying that the North are claiming 2023 presidential slot? We are not being fair to us. And also, this regionalization is just something that keeps dividing us. It doesn't matter when our leaders are sharing the national cake within themselves and their family members, friends and family members, they never talk of region. They never talk of language. They never talk of religion. They share the national cake and consume it within themselves. No one talks of region. But we here, the masses at the underground, keep talking. We are being marginalized. We are being marginalized while we are not even holding our leaders accountable. We need to first of all hold our leaders accountable before you think of being marginalized by one section of the country. Now, if I am to ask you, it is just a rhetorical question. A northerner, an ordinary northerner, Is he better off than ordinary Southerner in the South? The answer is no. No any
Okay,
ordinary.
thank you so much. Almost
Just
out of
a
time,
minute.
so
Just
I
a
just
minute.
have to Comrade Mohammed. We are
Please.
out of time, so I'm going to have to ask you to bear with us and let us go to another participant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mohammed. Let us listen to Andrew Yakubu before we let the guests react to what Comrade Mohammed have said and what Andrew.
Sorry, it's me. I'm using Andrew Yakubu's. Sorry, it's Mark Jacob. I'm using Andrew Yakubu's
okay, your hand
equipment.
up.
Yes, it's me. It's Mark Jacob.
Okay, understand. But your hand was up.
Yes,
so
I wanted to
you want to react to what
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
First of all, I'm very happy that the comrade is here, because initially I thought it was an exclusive meeting between the Middle Belters and the Southerners. But it's good that he's here, even though he didn't say where he comes from. Now, he has asked a question, why the Middle Belters are not clamoring for 2023 presidency. We are not, because we are just and fair people. We don't clamor for what we know ordinarily should go somewhere. Look, if he's been alive and current in history, he will know that the presidency has been moving from north to south. We are praying for the day that his type will agree that there is the need to create a Middle Belt region out of the geopolitical zones. Since 1948, there has been this struggle to have the Middle Belt region that has been resisted by the core northerners. If we had our own region, we would agitate. But the classification of Nigeria, as far as the presidency is concerned, made it that presidency would just rotate between the north and the south. The north has held it first under Yaradua. He spent 3 years. Why are you not mentioning the years that he spent? He died, unfortunately, a very great man. Buhari is spending 8 years. 6 years. 6 plus 3 is what? It's 9. Calculate that. You can't compare that to the 8 years of Obasanjo. You can't compare that to the 6 years of Goodluck Jonathan. So when people are talking like this, they should not think we are completely dull, that we cannot put 1 plus 1. The truth remains, the system that has been established in this presidential rotation is between North and South. The North will finish their tenure in 2023. And naturally, if we are fair to each other, there should be no debate as to where the president of Nigeria 2023 should come from. And that is one of the reasons why I am supporting and rooting for a Southern president. Let us be fair to everybody and let's treat people with decency. Look, nobody has the capacity, the monopoly of determining what I do with my rights. So when somebody comes on here and says, why am I not rooting? Why am I not interested in running for presidency? I'm not interested because I love equity and fairness. If the North is ruling now and will terminate its rule in 2023, this thing, in fairness, should go back to the South. The second question he raised, I'm trying to remember now, was the
Game
issue
of numbers.
What did he say?
Game of numbers.
Okay, the game of numbers. Thank you.
Politics.
Yes, and I wish he had listened to Elache, our big sister, who said that there is time, maybe it is time for us to rejig our political electoral system. Look, the constant reference to these numbers, by northern elements is a terrible thing because, look, how do you justify, for instance, the fact that Kano has 40-something local governments, 40 local governments. Lagos has 23. or is it 21? And they are assessed to have the same population. How do you justify that Kano alone produces more members in the National Assembly, the House of Reps, than 2 states in the South is put together? Or is it even 3 states? How do you justify that in a country where we're talking of justice? Now, you have used all these inflated figures to begin to use them to intimidate the rest of Nigeria. And that's why when people say, let's restructure, people don't want to hear the word restructure, because they know that if we shall truly restructure, there will be justice for everybody. There is no justification for the lumping of 40 local governments in one state with the same number or the same population with what is in Lagos. There's no, you cannot explain it to me legally.
Okay.
These are the issues.
Mr. Peters, I'm sorry, I have to interject here again. We are almost out of time, so I'm going to ask the next 2 people to make the submissions as brief as possible. Captain Chinonso Wafo, I've asked you to unmute, so please make your submission as brief as possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my fellow participants. I think I'm very happy that we have the comrade here with us, so that it's good that he will hear others. You know, it's good for them to feel the pulse of the nation, because whatever we are doing, we should be able to know what others think and then key into that. It's unfortunate that the current government in the country has so divided Nigeria. Not only Nigeria, he has so divided every sector in Nigeria, be it military, police, everywhere. I'm telling the truth, we are so divided. And if anybody thinks it is not true, then let him wait and see. The country is so divided that if anything should trigger anything like any tribal or civil war, this will be the last of this country. But what we are praying is that we come as a united country. We are praying that we restructure this country, that we have our regional government the way we have it in 1963. We should go back to what our forefathers arranged. This Nigeria we have now is not what was agreed by our independent fathers. What they agreed on was regional government. This federal government we're having now is accidental. It's a result of the coup that happened in 1966. So we have to go back to the basis where what our fathers agreed upon. If you watch what happened that period, the regions we are doing very well. Even the North was doing very well. We have the minerals, we have the agriculture, people we are competing. But what we have now, you have a rope of some elites coming together to loot and reloot and reloot and recycle themselves. Now, coming to the issue of power coming to the South in 2023, you cannot exclude the Shagari era of 5 years in presidency. If
I'm going to have you to summarize, Captain Wafo, like we are out of time.
You cannot exclude Shagari's tenure of office. You cannot exclude Babangida tenure of office. You cannot exclude Absalam tenure of office. You cannot exclude Buhari as the military president. All these guys were all Northerners. So you can't tell me that the North have been only Yar'Adua and Buhari. What are you talking about? When you talk about the president, it has been in the North all along. And if you say the North are impoverished, who impoverished the North? You blame your leaders. You can't, because your leaders have messed up the place, you now take our portion. It's not possible. It's not going to be possible. So let us reason very well. We have a North-South divide. If we want peace, let us have peace. If after Buhari in 2003 and the North still insist on getting power, then they may rule themselves, rule ourselves. That's the simple truth. Nobody can threaten us. Nobody can intimidate anybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Captain Chinonso Wafo. I'm retired. Let us go to the next person before we allow our guests to comment. Paul, why?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Christina, for this privilege that I can participate in this. And greetings to everyone in this platform. I just want to make a couple of contributions regarding Samba. I have actually taken time to study what Samba is all about. And as a Samba spokesperson said there, you see, the day the Middle Belt and the South realize that they have, like the Middle Belt to me is the glue that holds Nigeria together. And the core North, you can blatantly see, I'm not going to go into lamentation of what they have done or what they have not done. You can blatantly see the nepotism being displayed by this government. And you can see the arrogance with which Hakim was talking about yesterday or the day before. So Mark did say something about the South and the Middle Belt having misgivings about each other before. It was based on this. What I found out and studied about Samba was based on these discussions about the mistrust that the Southern like-minded people in the South and the like-minded people in the Middle Belt realize that the day we can work together, the game is changed forever in Nigeria. And because of that, we don't in Samba, I believe, care of whether it is South or not at the moment. That's not our prerogative. We will rather it go to the South because we've been sold a dummy before. The Igbos wanted to know if they can trust the Middle Belt who fought them during the Civil War. We wanted to know if they are capable of, we can trust each other, and we have gone past that. The Southerners now know things about the Middle Belt that they didn't know before. We have worked on that. I have checked and seen, before I even agreed to be part of Samba, we've checked and seen that there is this understanding now. And because of this understanding, whether the politicians want it or not, whether the core Sharia North want it or not, we have more in common. If they want to be Sharia in the core North, if they want to be arrogant and with impunity, be nepotists and all that kind of thing they want to do there, that is up to them. But we have now realized that our coming together is to determine who rules us. We are not just going to follow anybody like sheep anymore. Even our politicians now, if you are in alignment with our vision, we are with you. It doesn't matter to us where you come from. Even if you are from the South, you have to subscribe to our vision and mission. You see, so if you are from the North, at the moment, we are not even looking at the North because the issues that are caused, the problem that has caused Nigeria is coming. You cannot stand on this very platform that is causing the problem and try to solve that problem. So we have to move away from there and figure out how we are going to save and get back our country. The indigenous people of Nigeria, whatever part you are, if you want to be one Nigeria, we cannot have a Sharia Nigeria and a secular Nigeria at the same time. So we must find a way, a pattern to, if we are going to have religious election, let's have religious election. And you don't have the number in the core North without the Middle Belt. And the Middle Belt, we have decided that we are no longer, whether you call me North or not, I'm not North. You've sold me a dummy before and make me go and fight my brothers. I'm not going to go fight my brothers anymore. If you go and look for trouble now, you're on your own. They should be made to know that. Okay, we do not intend to split Nigeria. We don't want Nigeria to split, but we want everybody to know his father's house and to know the narrative that is coming from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul White. Let us go to the next person before we allow our guests to comment. Mazi, is it okay? Mazi, are you there?
Thank you. Yes, I am indeed here. I just wanted to, obviously, I've been listening. I just wanted to, by the comments made that the North has the population or the North has the number. I mean, it's, I don't know. Isn't it funny that it's only when it comes to election that the number we begin to hear number, North. Now it comes to VAT, everyone is saying, if you have the number, then you should have the number to collect your own VAT and survive. Now, it means, oh, be your brother's keeper, right? Be your brother's keeper when it comes to VAT paying. You see, if you have the number, then utilize the number and the number should pay tax and you survive on it. But here, honestly, listen, the thing is, the game is up. It's time we begin to hit the nail on the head. The number is with us. The number is with us. Wike, thank you for the breeze that has blown and the nyash fowl, be foul nyash, whichever way comes, but is now wide open. Thank you very much. That's only my contribution.
Is our host frozen? Is our host frozen? You still have more? Okay, Prince, please. Now respond.
Okay, thank you very much, Mazia. Thank you for. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. The game of numbers, please. Let's get serious. It's a myth. Who determines what the numbers are? God, where the numbers have always been, and we are not buying it any longer. We know that when there are numbers, they only come up with elections. So let him forget about the numbers. We know how they manufacture them during elections. Why do we support a southern president? Well, like Mike Christoph says, we are fair. We don't want injustice. It's like illiteracy to sell like titles. If you have ruled Nigeria, you have ruled Nigeria, whether you're a president or a head of state. If it is resource control as a head of state, you have it. As a president, you have it. So you don't try to brainwash us with neuro-linguistic terms that we have not made a president. The North has had more in power than the South. Please, let's get serious. And then when my grandfather was during their days, just before the Civil War, because there's a need for a number to come up, they were told, we are all Northerners. All to comrade, let me just drop one for you. Idan ayabatasan tafi gari laushi, me yasa da tsaya a dunkule? By interpretation. If the banana knows that it's softer than flour, why is it staying as a block? Simple. If you know you have the numbers, why do you need to bring it in the vice president from the South? Let's just call a spade a spade. And in those days, after our grandfathers have supported, nothing came up. And just in these recent elections, we were told that we are all Northerners, so we should vote. Some of our people voted for the current government. What do we have? A dummy again. So please don't come and try to brainwash us. Those days are over. We are serious and we know what we're looking for. The youths are on their feet and we are not going to stop. Just the last brainwave. We have a group that is called State MiddleBelt. They on their own, when they took copies that were killed to the government house, the House of Assembly, and they gave the House of Assembly an ultimatum. The House of Assembly also gave the governor an ultimatum. All of a sudden, before the next day, the HSS have covered the House of Assembly. Don't worry, these games are over. South and the Middle Belt are one, and will be just and fair. Power goes to the South. Thank you.
Okay, before Augusta comes, let me say.
Thanks so much. Let us hear from Mr. Jacobs.
Yes, thank you very much. Look, I just remembered what the comrade said that I wanted to comment on when he said that we should start talking of competence, that nobody becomes president and begins to talk of tribe or religion, that we should begin to hold our leaders accountable. Buhari, the president of Nigeria, has shown that if you are president, you can afford to take care of only one religion and nothing will happen. He has shown that if you are president, you can afford to appoint everybody to head every military or institution from your village and nothing will happen. How many shouted when all the service chiefs are from the north? and one religion. How many people, even outside the country, complained that all the ministers of repute were from one side? How many people complained and held the government accountable or asked for accountability as to how the president of Nigeria is the minister of petroleum till date? And there was no response. The Northerners see nothing wrong in these things. And it is when it is the turn of the South that people like Baba Ahmed and my comrade will begin to say, let's talk of competence, not where the person comes from. For God's sake, are we idiots? Why is it that during your own time, nobody talks of competence? All that is known and implemented is that you must be this religion or this tribe. Otherwise, you won't get a job in Central Bank. You won't get a job in NNPC. Your children will not get admission to read the courses they want. Special things will be reserved for some people. It has been happening since 2015. And nobody should hoodwink us into keep thinking that we're any one Nigeria. There is no one Nigeria again. There's only half Nigeria. It belongs to them, and they are not apologetic about it. I would like us to talk reality. Let nobody hoodwink us. It's not our fault that we got educated. And we can interpret things and speak about them. We don't need any fight to say this. We don't even need to get angry to say them. They are realities. Everybody knows that all the service chiefs for the past 1 year were all from the same religion. And they ignored all the cries and the hymns. Today, it is only from the MiddleBelt that 2 governors are in prison. 2 former governors are in prison. As if they are the only ones that stop. Every other person, either from Gombe, from Jigawa, from Kano, even the ones we saw collecting dollars on television, nothing has happened to them, and nothing will happen to them because they belong. And you want us to say that all is well? For God's sake. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacob. Just before we round up, let me speak to Prince Rwang Pam as spokesperson for December. Does your organization have any plans to sensitize people on the importance of voting? Because right now we see that political apathy is eating deep into our system, especially in the southern part of the country. Is the organization making any plans towards that?
Very, very well. Our people are smart, and it's not 1 + 1 that gets them to move. It is your will and identifying with them that gives hope. Our small publications, we're glad, have almost gone viral. Youths are calling. People are getting interested in politics because they believe Samba is speaking their heartbeat. That is indirect sensitization. They are having political apathy, voter apathy, because nobody seems to be saying, okay, why don't you look at it the other way? If somebody like Baba Ahmed will say power will remain in the north for another 3 years, who knows how many more years they have in mind? But somebody has to wake up and say, it's not possible. We are not with you. Samba has done that. That is a key. And it's very, very fundamental to having the youths and the general populace have hope and the possibility of having credible elections, quote and unquote. Yes, we have also plans to continue what we're doing, to encourage people to use legitimate legal means to speak to government and policymakers. And as much as possible, if it's happening, by keeping quiet, we have supported whatever is there by being nominal. So yes, Samba as an organization on its own is an inspiration, and people are rising Augusta. We have down-to-earth plans of going, making banners, posters, social media handles, and other things to reach the youth and encourage them that Nigeria, there is hope,
Let us come out, let us participate in the polity and bring up our votes too. Maybe tomorrow we'll come and tell other people we have the numbers.
Thank you so much. Just before we let you go, let us hear from Mark Jacobs. Mark Jacobs, any last words before we round up the program?
Yes, I'll just say that there is hope for Nigeria, and this hope is in our hands. It cannot be put off, and it cannot be dissuaded by naysayers. And the Baba Ahmeds are actually trying to react to the signs of doom, because 2023 is possible. It's possible to put them where they belong, but it will take a lot of synergy. It will take a lot of groundwork. I'm happy that Samba has a strategy team that is working behind the scene on so many issues. Some of us are in the forefront. Politically, I'm a member of the PDP and I'm a member of NEC of the PDP. But we are strongly committed to making a Southern presidency. Let the Southerners come up, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's as much as we can take on today's exclusive interview powered by News Band Television.